I want you to pause with me for a moment. Set aside the rush of your thoughts, the weight of today's concerns, and the noise of what you think your life should look like. Be still and listen, not just with your ears, but with your soul. There is something I have been waiting to tell you. Something deeper than any sermon, more enduring than any affirmation. Your life is not a mistake. It is not a series of random moments strung together by chance or survival. Your life is my work of art, a living, breathing canvas of my love. From the very beginning, before time was measured or light touched the earth, I saw you. Not just your name or your face, but the entirety of who you are, the depths you haven't yet discovered, the dreams not yet born, the seasons you've walked through and the ones still to come. I saw it all, and I chose to pour my love into that vision. I chose to begin the masterpiece called you. With each breath you take, I continue to shape it. With each joy, each sorrow, each choice, each change, another brushstroke is made. Nothing in your life is wasted in my hands. No line is accidental. No color is misplaced. Everything is part of something beautiful I'm creating. You may look at your life and only see fragments. You may see years that feel blank, or memories that look more like smudges than structure. You may wonder if you've ruined something, if the brush slipped, if the beauty was lost somewhere along the way. But I ask you now to trust me. You are not looking at the full picture. You see inches, I see the entire canvas. What looks like a dark patch to you is a shadow that gives depth. What you call a stain, I use as contrast. What you regret, I can repurpose into something holy. Let's go deeper, beloved. Think about a blank canvas, untouched, quiet, full of unknown possibility. That is how every story begins. There is no shame in beginning. You were never meant to rush to the finish line. You were meant to journey through each stroke with me. But so often, the world teaches you to compare your progress to others, to panic when the picture doesn't match the expectations, to question your worth when your life doesn't follow the pattern you hoped for. But I never created you to fit into someone else's mold. I designed you as a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. There has never been, and will never be, another like you. Do not measure the worth of your life by how polished it looks to others. My art is not about perfection. It is about truth. And truth is sometimes messy. It involves color clashing before harmony emerges. It includes moments of stillness, waiting and rest, just as much as it includes bold movements and sudden turns. And all of it, every nuance, is part of what I'm doing in you. If you could see what I see when I look at you, your breath would catch in awe. You would weep, not from shame, but from the overwhelming sense of being loved in places you thought were too broken to be seen. You're not a blank slate anymore. You're a living work, in progress, and my spirit is the hand moving gently across the canvas. You may feel like too much time has passed, like the mistakes have been too loud, like the colors have become too muddy. But even now I am layering over what once seemed ruined. I do not start over, I build. I do not erase, I redeem. My process is patient. My vision is eternal. And you are never out of reach. You've experienced seasons of joy, where the canvas shone bright with vibrant color, but you've also walked through pain, through grief, disappointment, betrayal. Those seasons felt like someone poured gray across your soul. But even then I was present. I did not step away in your suffering. I leaned in closer. I added new colors, sometimes muted, yes, but rich with meaning. I used even the shadow to shape beauty, even the silence to shape strength. And through it all, I never let go of you. You may have tried to take the brush from my hand at times, convinced that you needed to fix it, to clean it up, to speed it along. I understand that. I know how hard it is to trust what you cannot yet see. But when you rest in me, when you let me be the artist, something begins to shift. You stop striving to make it perfect. You begin to realize that beauty emerges not through control, but through surrender. And as you surrender, your soul begins to breathe again. Some days you'll feel like a blank canvas again, unsure of what comes next, scared of what will be painted. But that is not failure. That is faith. That is the sacred space where I do my finest work. When you admit that you don't know, when you invite me to lead, when you release the picture you thought life would look like, that is when I begin to reveal the design that was always there, waiting beneath the layers. So trust me now, not because you understand, but because I have never stopped loving you. This canvas, your life, will not remain unfinished. I will complete what I started. I'm not discouraged by what you call messy. I'm not threatened by the places that feel unclear. I see the whole. I hold the vision, and I will bring it to light in time. You are more than a moment. You are a masterpiece, and I am still painting. Let your heart remain open here with me, because I want to take you even deeper into what it means to live as a canvas of my love. You see, so many times you look at your life through a lens shaped by the world, a lens that demands productivity, success, perfection, and certainty. But I did not shape you from pressure. I shaped you from love. And love does not rush. Love does not demand flawless lines. Love works patiently, purposefully weaving together colors you don't yet understand into a story that reveals glory far beyond your imagination. There are parts of your life that you've tried to erase, decisions you regret, years that feel like waste, moments you've hidden, even from yourself. You may look at those sections of your story and wish they could be removed, covered, forgotten. But I need you to hear this. I do not discard what you wish to hide. I restore it. I don't ignore your wounds. I transform them. You are not a project to be repaired. You are a soul being revealed. Layer by layer, truth by truth, healed from the inside out. The canvas of your life doesn't become beautiful because it's flawless. It becomes beautiful because of what I place within it: grace, resilience, renewal. Every scar becomes part of the landscape of your redemption. Every shadow becomes the backdrop against which my light shines brighter. And even in the places where it looks like you were abandoned, forgotten, or lost, I was still there. I never left. I painted through the silence, through the ache, through the unanswered prayers and the seasons you didn't understand. I never stopped creating, even when you stopped believing anything beautiful could come from it. You've been taught to fear imperfection, to cover the mess, to hide the questions, to polish your pain into something presentable. But my way is different. I don't wait for you to be polished before I love you. I love you in the process. I hold you in the middle of the mess. I sit with you in the uncertainty. And there, in that honest space, I begin to show you that what you thought disqualified you was actually preparing you. The cracks in your canvas are not the end of the art. They are where my presence seeps in most powerfully. Consider the times you felt unworthy, the seasons you believed you had nothing left to offer, the days when you barely had strength to pray. Do you remember how quietly I stayed with you? I didn't demand more. I didn't condemn your weariness. I whispered to your soul again and again, "You are mine. You are loved. I am not done." And I kept painting, even when you couldn't see it. I wove grace into your exhaustion. I blended hope into your despair. I layered purpose over your confusion. And now, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still being shaped into something eternal. You may not see it clearly yet. That's okay. A canvas rarely reveals its full beauty until the final strokes are complete. But you don't need to wait until then to trust the artist. You can trust me now. even in the unfinished spaces, even in the areas that still look like chaos. I am present in the process, not just the outcome. And as you walk with me, I will begin to show you glimpses, moments of clarity, bursts of joy, unexpected peace, that confirm you are not wandering aimlessly. You are becoming. Let's also speak about the colors you don't understand, the seasons of sorrow, of disappointment, of deep waiting. You've asked me why. You've wrestled with the purpose behind the pain. And though I don't always explain everything in the moment, I promise you this: nothing has been wasted. Not a single tear, not a single detour, not a single season of silence. All of it has shaped the texture of your story. All of it has made room for my love, to be experienced not just as a concept, but as a reality. You've also experienced beauty, moments of joy that took your breath away, encounters that made you feel deeply alive, people who reflected my heart back to you in ways words couldn't capture. Those moments weren't random either. They were intentional strokes of color, placed with care to remind you, this is who you are. This is what you were made for. I gave them to you as previews, hints of the masterpiece in motion. And even when they faded, their presence remained embedded in your soul, anchoring you to hope. Do not rush this process. I'm not looking for quick results. I'm cultivating something eternal. You are not a mass-produced product. You are handcrafted. And what I craft, I complete. You are not forgotten in the gallery of heaven. Your story is unfolding exactly as I foresaw, not free of pain, but full of purpose, not without storms, but always accompanied by grace. There will be moments ahead where you'll be tempted to pick up the brush again, to take control, to make things look a certain way, to avoid the discomfort of not knowing. In those moments, return to this truth. I am the artist. I see the whole. I know what's coming. And I will finish this work with love, not pressure. With wisdom, not haste. With glory, not shame. So breathe. Trust the process, embrace the layers. Know that even the smudges are sacred when they're surrendered to me. And never forget, this canvas you call your life is not random. It is holy. It is my love in motion. It is beauty unfolding. It is you becoming who I created you to be. Let me take you back, just for a moment. Not to reopen old wounds, but to remind you of how far we've come together. There were days when you questioned whether your story had any beauty in it at all. There were seasons when the brushstrokes looked harsh and uncoordinated, when loss and confusion seemed to dominate the canvas. I know how it felt. The moments when you thought the colors were too dark, too heavy, when all you could see was pain, failure, disappointment, not art, just aftermath. But even then, I was there, working silently beneath the surface. The mess was never without meaning. The silence was never without presence. The darkness was never void of my hand. You must understand this. A masterpiece is not revealed in the early stages. What seems chaotic in the beginning is essential for the final expression. Artists know this. I know this. And I, your creator, have never been unsure of what I'm making in you. I do not hesitate. I do not backtrack. I do not question your worth or your potential because of what others have done or failed to see. You are not a mistake to be corrected. You are a vision to be completed. Every stroke has been intentional, every detour accounted for, every layer lovingly placed. There are times when you've tried to make sense of the picture on your own. You've zoomed in too close to one corner of the canvas, fixating on a single season or event and deciding it defined you. But no single moment defines you. Not the betrayal, not the abandonment, not the choices you regret. Those are just strokes in a much bigger image. They don't tell the whole story. Only I do. And I am telling it with grace. You may carry questions about why certain things were allowed, why some prayers felt unanswered, why the image hasn't turned out the way you hoped. I welcome your questions. I do not shut you down. I do not shame you for wondering, but I ask you to hold those questions in the context of trust. You see only a portion of the canvas. I see the completed work, and if you could see it now, if even for a moment I showed you what I see, your breath would catch with wonder, not fear. You are learning now that love doesn't always look like ease. Sometimes it looks like perseverance, like staying when it would be easier to run, like trusting when it would be safer to doubt. And that trust, that willingness to remain present with me even when the picture is incomplete, is what shapes your soul into something eternal. Every moment of surrender, every whisper of "I still believe," is another stroke of light across your canvas. There is a kind of beauty that only comes through contrast. A sunrise means nothing without the night. Joy is fuller when it follows sorrow. Hope shines brighter when it emerges from despair. I do not delight in your pain, but I delight in redeeming it. That's who I am, the Redeemer, the artist who takes what others throw away and makes it glorious, the one who turns ashes into color, the one who turns broken stories into breathtaking works of grace. And your story, yes, yours, is one of them. Don't look at someone else's canvas and assume they are further along or more valuable. Beauty isn't measured by comparison. It's revealed in authenticity. You and I are creating something entirely unique together. You don't need to mimic someone else's palette, someone else's pace, someone else's process. What I am doing in you cannot be replicated, and it must not be rushed. If you try to copy, you'll lose the essence of what I'm creating. Stay with me. Trust the way I paint your life, even when it doesn't match your expectation. I know what you desire: to feel whole, to feel purposeful, to look at your life and finally say, "It makes sense." And I promise you, that day will come, not because the pain disappears, but because the perspective changes. You'll step back and see that even the hard colors had purpose. Even the broken places shimmer with my glory when surrendered to me. You'll see how the brushstrokes of hardship blended with moments of grace to form something layered, rich, deep, something eternal. You'll also begin to see how I've used your story to paint into others. Every time you've shared honestly, every time you've offered compassion out of your own wounds, every time you've chosen mercy over judgment, that was my love spilling over from your canvas into theirs. You're not just being painted. You are becoming part of my palette, a conduit of color, a channel of grace, a reflection of my creative heart. So walk forward now, not with anxiety, but with wonder. Let your steps be guided not by what you see, but by who you trust. Let me continue the work. Let me finish what I began. I promise you, what is coming is beautiful beyond words. And you, my beloved, are not only part of it, you are the very center of my design. You are my art, my joy, my expression of love to the world. And this canvas, your life, is only just beginning to reveal its brilliance. Stay with me here. Beloved, you've come far already, but there's more I want you to see. Not with your physical eyes, but with your spirit. The deeper you go with me, the more you begin to recognize the subtle colors I've woven through your life. You start to realize that my love hasn't only been present in the bold, vibrant moments, the victories, the celebrations, the answered prayers, but just as much, and sometimes more powerfully, in the quiet, hidden spaces. The ordinary days, the seasons you called boring or barren, the days you thought nothing was happening, those were brushstrokes too. You may have looked back and wondered, was that season wasted? I assure you, nothing is wasted in my hands. I use everything, every delay, every detour, every season that felt like waiting without direction. Do you remember when you were standing in uncertainty, not knowing what the future held, afraid that you had missed your chance or lost your way? Even then I was painting, not with haste, but with precision. You couldn't see it then, but I was laying down the foundation for something deeper than success. I was shaping your soul. What you saw as silence, I was using as preparation. What you perceived as emptiness, I filled with layers of grace that are only now beginning to emerge. It is in these layers that I write resilience. Not the kind that hardens your heart, but the kind that deepens it. You don't carry shallow colors, child. Your life holds richness, texture, movement, the kind of complexity that reflects not chaos, but the creative brilliance of divine love. And yes, I know there have been moments when you wish the painting would stop, when the pressure of life, the weight of sorrow, or the burden of expectation made you want to put everything down and walk away. You whispered, "I can't do this," but I didn't let go. I never needed you to carry the whole vision. That has always been my job. I only needed your yes. Even if all you could give was a quiet yes through tears, that was enough. You said yes, and I kept painting. You've asked me before, why does it have to be so hard sometimes? And I want you to hear this, not as correction, but as compassion. It's because I love you too much to give you only surface beauty. I want your life to carry weight, truth, presence. Not just an image, but a message. Not just appearance, but substance. And that kind of beauty is born in the fire. Not the fire that destroys, the fire that refines, that softens the hard places, that removes what's false, that reveals what's true. There's a sacred strength in you now that wasn't there before. You may not see it clearly, but I do. It's in the way you listen with compassion, the way you notice what others miss, the way your heart feels deeply and still chooses to remain open, the way you hold space for others without needing to fix everything. These are not small things. These are signs that my love has been shaping you, slowly, steadily, silently. These are the hidden strokes of the artist's hand. Sometimes, beauty is only visible after a long stare. Some paintings can't be understood at a glance. You have to sit with them. Let your heart catch up to what your eyes cannot yet see. Your life is like that. More intricate, more profound than anyone can fully perceive. But I see it. I understand it. I honor it. You never need to explain your process to me. I have been present for every moment of it. You are not falling behind. You are being shaped at exactly the pace your soul requires. The world may tell you to hurry, to rush past your healing, to present a finished image, but I do not work with deadlines. I work with love, and love is never rushed. I've said this before, but I will say it again, because I want it to sink deep into your spirit. I am not disappointed in you. Not once have I looked at your canvas and wished for something else. Not once have I regretted my choice to begin this masterpiece. You may struggle to believe that sometimes, but it remains true. My love for you is not based on how well you perform or how quickly you grow. It is based on who you are, who I created, who I see, who I have called mine from the beginning. And here's something else to hold on to. Even in moments when the canvas of your life feels dry, like no new color is being added, you are still growing. Sometimes the most powerful transformation happens not in motion, but in rest. In the quiet, soaking in of love. In the silent agreement that, even here, even now, you are still worthy of beauty. So let me continue the work. Let me add the next layer. Don't resist the stillness. It is part of the process. Don't fear the slow days. They are sacred too. And above all, don't disqualify your canvas because it doesn't look like what you imagined. My imagination is infinitely better. My creativity is boundless. My vision for you goes far beyond what you've dared to dream. This life of yours, this unfolding, unfinished, gloriously imperfect life, is not a disappointment to me. It is a celebration of grace. And we are still in motion. I'm still here, brush in hand, heart fully engaged, creating something eternal. Let's pause together right here in this sacred moment. I want you to feel the truth of what I've been whispering to your spirit from the beginning. You are deeply known, deeply loved, and your life is not only significant, it is sacred. What I am creating in you is more than just a life well lived. It is a divine reflection of my love on earth. Your life in all its nuance and mystery is my intentional brushstroke upon creation, a unique expression of the eternal woven through time. You are not just a canvas for my art. You are the art. You are the message. You may look around and feel like others are further along, more confident, more accomplished, more certain of their place. But that is not how I measure beauty. I do not compare. I do not rush. I do not place you on a timeline of expectation. I walk with you step by step, revealing what needs to be seen when your heart is ready to receive it. What the world celebrates as progress, I often regard as distraction. And what you may call slow or hidden, I call holy. You have wondered if your story has power, if your voice has weight, if your experiences hold meaning. I assure you, not one chapter is irrelevant, not one moment is void of purpose. I do not waste what you live through. Every joy, every wound, every question, every quiet victory, all of it becomes part of the sacred design I am unfolding in your life. There is nothing random about you. Every detail was considered. Every part of your journey has been woven with intention. Remember, beloved, even the most beautiful works of art pass through stages that look messy, confusing, even chaotic. An artist doesn't fear the in-between. I welcome it because I know what's coming. When the layers are unfinished, when the paint hasn't dried, when nothing seems to make sense, that is where I do some of my most intimate work. That is where I draw near and invite you to trust me beyond what you can see. That's the point where your soul learns to rest in me, not in the appearance of progress, but in the reality of presence. And I am present, always. I want you to remember something very important. Your value is not found in how complete your canvas looks to others. It is not determined by applause or approval. It is found in the simple, unshakable truth that you are mine. Before the first color touched your life, before the first decision was made, I called you good. That declaration has not changed. Even in your moments of uncertainty, even in your seasons of doubt, I still call you good. Not because of what you've done, but because of what I've declared over you. This is why I ask you to forgive yourself, not because your mistakes were insignificant, but because my grace is greater. You've held yourself hostage for long enough. You've replayed old scenes, rehearsed old guilt, lived under shame that was never meant to stay. But I have already redeemed it. I have already painted over it with love. You don't need to keep revisiting what I've already restored. It is time to let go. It is time to believe that I'm more committed to your healing than you are to your punishment. When you forgive yourself, you make space for joy to return. Real joy, not the fleeting kind that depends on circumstances, but the deep, unshakable kind that grows in the soil of grace. This joy doesn't ignore pain. It lives beside it. It says, "Even here, even now, I am loved." And it's from that place of joy that the next strokes on your canvas will emerge. Lighter ones, freer ones, color that reflects a heart unburdened by old weight. You may feel unsure how to walk forward from here. That's okay. The way forward isn't a straight line. It's a trust walk, one step at a time, one moment at a time. You don't need the whole map. You only need my hand. and I will not let go. I will continue to guide, to comfort, to speak, to paint. As you keep trusting me, I will show you more of what I'm doing. Not all at once, but enough for your soul to stay anchored. And even when you falter, when you question, when you pull back, when fear whispers that maybe the canvas won't turn out as hoped, I will not withdraw. My presence isn't fragile. My love is not conditional. My commitment to your story does not waver with your emotions. I am the same, steady, faithful, true. I do not give up on my art, and you are my art. So breathe, child, you are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are becoming, and every layer, every tear, every healing, every new hope is part of the masterpiece. Let me keep painting. Let me keep forming beauty out of all you've walked through. Trust the artist who began this work and will surely complete it. Because what I see when I look at your life is something eternal, something breathtaking, something that can only be called this, a canvas of my love. Come closer, because I want to speak now into the parts of you that have quietly questioned your worth. Not aloud, not in dramatic ways, but in the private corners of your thoughts, in the quiet of the night, in the soft sighs you breathe when no one is looking. I have seen those moments. I have heard those inner doubts. Does my life really matter? Am I doing enough? Am I enough? My beloved, hear me clearly. You are more than enough. Not because of what you've accomplished, but because of who you are to me. You are not only seen, you are cherished. Not only created, designed with intention. And your life, whether others understand it or not, is holy ground. You may wonder why I keep repeating this truth to you. It's because the world speaks so loudly against it. Every day you are surrounded by messages that say your value is tied to productivity, to perfection, to performance. And even when you try to resist those lies, they still creep in through comparisons, unmet expectations, and the relentless pressure to prove yourself. But I never asked you to prove anything. I never asked you to earn what I've already given. You are not a candidate for love. You are a recipient of it. Fully, freely, forever. Imagine again the canvas of your life, not from the perspective of critique, but from mine, the perspective of love. I see not only what is, but what is becoming. I see the lines that will one day make sense. I see the colors that haven't been added yet. I see the full picture, and I delight in it, even now, even when you feel unfinished. Because what I delight in is not the illusion of completion. I delight in the process. I delight in your willingness to keep walking, to keep trusting, to keep letting me shape your days. Some days you may feel like nothing is happening, like growth is stagnant, like your prayers fall flat, like your efforts don't seem to matter. But those are often the days when the most transformation is taking place. Growth often hides beneath the surface. Healing often looks like silence. Progress often feels like stillness. And yet, I am in it all. I am never idle when it comes to your soul. I am always painting, always shaping, always present. And in these seasons of slow unfolding, I'm not just working on your circumstances, I'm deepening your roots, because I know what is coming. I know the weight of what you'll carry in the days ahead, the opportunities, the influence, the healing, the relationships. And I want your heart to be ready, not by making you strive harder, but by making you more whole. Wholeness doesn't come from trying harder to be strong. It comes from resting more deeply in my strength. Do you see now why your life matters so deeply to me? Not just the public moments, but the private ones, the quiet choices no one sees, the moments you turn your heart toward me in simple trust. These are the brushstrokes that shape the eternal. These are the colors that don't fade. While others celebrate what is visible, I celebrate what is true. And the truth is, your life carries a beauty that cannot be replicated. Your experiences, your voice, your journey, all of it matters. All of it is part of my divine design. You don't need to wait until the end of the story to find joy. You don't need to wait until every question is answered, every conflict resolved, every goal reached. Joy is not the prize at the finish line. It's the companion along the way. It shows up in gratitude, in presence, in the simple awareness that I am with you, right here, right now. Not after the breakthrough, not after the healing, not once things look better. Now, joy isn't something you earn, it's something you allow. It begins when you stop striving to create a perfect image and you start embracing the beauty of what is raw, what is real, what is in process. I'm not disappointed by your in-process self. I'm invested in it, and I rejoice over every small surrender, every quiet act of love, every honest prayer. These are the pigments of eternal art. This is the palette of heaven touching earth. You may not feel radiant. You may not feel like a masterpiece, but feelings are not the final authority. I am. And I say you are fearfully and wonderfully made. I say you are becoming something sacred. I say your life is a reflection of my glory. Not in spite of your struggles, but through them. So let this be the moment you begin to believe again, not in yourself alone, but in me, in the one who is still painting, still present, still passionate about what we are creating together. Let this be the day you take your hands off the brush, stop trying to control the process, and rest in the truth that I know what I'm doing. You are not just part of my work. You are the very reason I keep painting. And no matter what comes next, I will keep going. I will keep forming you. I will keep loving you. Until the final layer is placed, until the image is complete, until your life shines with the fullness of everything I dreamed for you from the beginning. Because you, beloved, are my canvas, and my love will be the signature on every inch of your story. Let me draw you into a deeper truth now, one that often escapes even those who walk closely with me. Your life is not only a canvas where my love is expressed, it is also a mirror that reflects my heart. Every time you forgive, when it would be easier to hold a grudge, every time you show kindness when no one is watching, every time you press forward when everything in you wants to give up, you reveal me. You become a reflection not only of what I've done in you, but of who I am to others. That, my child, is sacred beyond words. You were created not just to receive my love, but to radiate it, not as a duty, not as a burden, but as the natural overflow of being loved so deeply that you cannot help but love in return. This is not about performance or perfection. It's about presence. It's about being rooted so securely in my love that everything you touch carries my fingerprints, even when you don't realize it. Have you noticed the impact you have when you choose gentleness over anger, or when you extend grace to someone still learning how to carry their own wounds? Those moments matter. They may seem small to you, but they're powerful brushstrokes on the canvases of others. You are not only being painted by me, you are painting with me. Every act of love is a stroke of my glory across the surface of this world, and I take joy in that. I take joy in you, but I know that sometimes it's hard to see this. I know how easily you disqualify yourself. You believe that your past cancels your purpose. You think that your failures have erased your influence. But I want you to know, nothing disqualifies you when your heart is surrendered to me. I use it all, not just the polished parts, but the cracked, the clumsy, the incomplete. Those are the spaces where my light shines through the brightest. Not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. Do you remember when you doubted whether your life had meaning? I do. I remember that quiet moment when you stared at the ceiling and wondered, does any of this even matter? It mattered to me. Every thought, every tear, every whisper of surrender. It echoed in heaven. And even though you couldn't feel me clearly then, I was closer than ever, holding you, listening, preparing a new layer of beauty, even as you questioned your worth. So many times you've assumed that I'm only proud of you when you're strong. But my joy isn't based on your strength. It's based on your trust. When you come to me empty, when you admit you don't know what's next, when you say, I need you, that is when my heart bursts with delight. Not because you figured it out, but because you've remembered who holds you. And in those moments I begin to release something in you, a deeper capacity to love, to hope, to carry my peace. That peace doesn't mean everything around you is calm. It means that everything within you is aligned with me. It means you've stopped fighting the process and started flowing with the rhythm of grace. This rhythm is not always loud. Often it is quiet, gentle, like the soft blending of colors across a canvas. But make no mistake, it is powerful. It transforms atmospheres. It breaks cycles. It heals wounds passed down through generations. When you live in my rhythm, you no longer carry burdens you were never meant to hold. You become light. You become free. You become fully alive. And others will notice. They may not always understand it, but they will feel it. Your peace will speak louder than your opinions. Your love will be louder than your need to be right. Your presence will offer safety, not because you have all the answers, but because you carry my spirit within you. That is what it means to reflect me. You don't have to force this. You don't have to manufacture influence. You simply have to remain in me. Stay near. Let me continue to form you. Let me continue to add layers of grace where fear once lived. Let me keep painting over the places where shame once spoke. Your story is still unfolding, and what I am creating in you will point others back to me, not because you've performed, but because you've remained. This is how my kingdom works. Slowly, deeply, powerfully, through people like you, through stories like yours, through the simple decision to believe that you are loved, that you are chosen, that you are still in my hands. So when you feel invisible, remember, you are radiant in my eyes. When you feel like your life is too quiet to matter, remember, I work most powerfully through what the world overlooks. When you wonder if anything you've done has made a difference, remember, the greatest changes often begin with the smallest strokes. You are not just a canvas I paint on. You are a reflection of my love in a world starving for light. Keep shining, child, not by trying harder, but by staying near. Let your life be the echo of my heart. Let me take you now to a deeper layer of what I have been painting, the place where purpose meets process. You see, many believe that purpose is something distant, something to chase, something that only arrives once everything feels resolved and certain. But I want to show you something far more beautiful, far more intimate. Your purpose is not a destination. It's embedded in every part of your journey. It's woven into your daily moments, into your breath, into your being. You don't find your purpose. You live it step by step in communion with me. Do you understand what this means, beloved? It means that you don't have to wait until your story makes sense to live meaningfully. You don't have to wait until your pain is gone to make an impact. You don't have to have it all figured out before your life begins to matter. It already matters. The moment you wake up, the moment you choose love, the moment you show up fully in the present, that is purpose in motion. That is eternity unfolding in time. Too often, you've measured purpose by productivity. You've thought, if I'm not achieving, I'm not fulfilling what God has called me to. But I never said that. I never tied your worth to your output. I've always been more interested in your heart than your hustle. Yes, there is work to do, sacred, joyful work, but it flows from love, not pressure. Your calling is not a job description. It is a relationship. And as you abide in me, your life naturally begins to release the fragrance of purpose. Think of how a flower blooms. It doesn't strive. It opens. It trusts the soil, the water, the light. It becomes what it was created to be simply by growing where it is planted. And yet, its beauty changes the landscape. Your life is like that. When you remain in me, when you choose to trust rather than strive, you bloom. And when you bloom, others take notice. Not because you're demanding attention, but because you're living from your true source. This is the power of a life, lived as my canvas. It doesn't have to shout to be noticed. It doesn't have to compete to be valid. It simply has to be yielded, surrendered, willing. That is how my glory flows, through yielded vessels, through hearts that say, "Here I am, Lord. Use me, shape me, reveal yourself through me." And when you say that, even silently, even in the middle of your own healing, heaven moves. My spirit breathes. And something holy begins to stir, not just in you, but in the lives around you. You've asked before if your struggles disqualify you. You've wondered if your brokenness blocks your ability to carry purpose. But I say to you again, it is your very wounds that become windows for my light. I do not need you to be flawless. I need you to be real. Real with me. Real with yourself. Real with others. This world has had enough masks. What it needs is truth. And you, my child, are being formed into a beacon of truth. Not truth as a weapon, but truth as light, as warmth, as presence. There are parts of your story you've been afraid to tell, parts that still feel unfinished, raw, vulnerable. But even those pieces are holy. Even those chapters, if placed in my hands, will become pillars of hope for others who walk through similar valleys. Your story is not a cautionary tale. It is a testimony of grace, of redemption, of beauty rising from ashes. And when you begin to speak from that place, not to impress but to invite, you will see how powerfully I can move through what you thought was unusable. You do not need to chase impact. Live present, live honest, live rooted, and impact will flow from you like breath. This is not about ambition, this is about alignment. When your life is aligned with my love, every action becomes significant. Every encounter becomes divine. Every moment becomes infused with heaven's intention. You may never fully see the ripple effect your life creates, but I do. I see how your kindness softened a heart that was about to give up. I see how your patience created space for healing in someone who was terrified to trust. I see how your willingness to stay when it would have been easier to run became a mirror of my own faithfulness. You are affecting lives in ways that eternity will reveal more clearly than this moment ever could. And so I say to you again, don't minimize what I'm doing in you. Don't dismiss the days that feel small. Don't underestimate the power of presence, of humility, of hope. These are not accessories to purpose. They are its foundation. As you keep walking, I will keep painting. I will keep revealing more of what I've designed you to be. You don't need to predict it. You only need to participate in it. Stay soft. Stay near. Let me lead. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not ordinary. You are mine. And your life is already echoing eternity. We've walked a long way together, and yet this is only the beginning of the beauty I'm preparing to reveal in you. As you look back on the layers of your story, do you see it now? The fingerprints of grace? The slow, faithful work of my hand? Maybe it's still hard to understand the full picture. Maybe some sections of your canvas still feel unresolved. But I want you to rest in this truth. What I begin, I finish. And I finish it with excellence, with compassion, and with glory far beyond what the world can comprehend. There is no moment of your life that I have overlooked. None too insignificant, none too broken, none too ordinary. Every laugh, every cry, every deep breath taken in courage or sorrow, I have held them all. And everyone has added depth, contrast, and sacred texture to the portrait I'm forming. Do not fear the unfinished parts. Do not despair over the waiting. There is still more color to come, more light to shine, more restoration to emerge. You may think, but what if I've missed too much? What if I've wasted too many years? Hear me clearly. Nothing is beyond my ability to redeem. Not time, not opportunity, not your own missteps. I am not restricted by clocks or calendars. I work in seasons, in layers, in sudden miracles and slow growth. And when you surrender the timeline to me, I restore what was lost in ways you never thought possible. I can do in one moment what striving for decades cannot accomplish. This is not wishful thinking. This is who I am. Look at how far you've come. Yes, there have been wounds. Yes, there were seasons of silence, of shadow, of struggle. But now look deeper. Look at the compassion that has grown in you. Look at the strength forged in surrender. Look at the gentleness that emerged where bitterness once tried to take root. That didn't happen by accident. That is my artistry at work, not just in your circumstances, but in your soul. You're beginning to understand now that your life is not a product to perfect, but a process to trust. I am not asking you to perform, I'm inviting you to live fully as the person I created, whole, loved, and capable of reflecting heaven in the midst of earth's chaos. This kind of life doesn't shout for validation. It whispers eternity into the fabric of each day. And when others look at your life, they won't see perfection. They'll see presence. They'll feel peace. They'll encounter my love through your eyes, through your words, through your kindness. That is what makes your canvas radiant. That is what makes your life eternal. Not how many things you do, but how deeply you allow me to dwell in you and flow through you. You've spent so much of your life trying to be enough, trying to prove yourself worthy, trying to make the painting presentable before I could love it. But child, I loved it all along. I've never required your polish. I've only ever wanted your permission to come in, to restore, to lead, to love you fully. You don't have to hide anything from me. You don't have to edit your soul before I enter. I've seen it all, and still, I stay. So let me be the artist, and let yourself be the canvas. Let your heart rest in the knowledge that your identity is not earned. It is received. You are not just someone I use. You are someone I enjoy. Your laughter delights me. Your questions don't scare me. Your dreams matter to me. And when you invite me into the creation of your life, we make something together that can never be replicated. There is still more I want to show you. There are colors we haven't yet used, songs you haven't yet sung, joys you haven't yet touched. Stay open. Stay close. Let wonder return. Let hope rise again, even if it rises slowly. You are not at the end. You are at the threshold of a new depth of beauty, and I am already preparing the next layer. Even when you don't feel it, I'm still here painting. Even when you doubt it, I'm still here loving. Even when you can't see it, I'm still here redeeming. Nothing can separate you from my creative, constant, life-giving love. And soon you'll look back not with regret, but with reverence. You'll see how every chapter was held, how every detour became a place of encounter, how every broken edge was a place I chose to pour gold, making your life more beautiful than if it had never cracked. So breathe again, beloved. Rest again. Trust again. The canvas is still unfolding, and what I'm creating in you is eternal. Let your soul rest now in the truth I've been painting from the very beginning. You are mine. You have always been mine. Through every season, through every uncertainty, through every triumph and tear, I've held you. I've covered you with grace. I've surrounded you with mercy, and I have patiently shaped your life into something that bears my love for the world to see. You may not have seen it before. You may have doubted it in the middle of the mess. But now, as you begin to look at your life through my eyes, I hope you see it. This masterpiece was never abandoned. It was always becoming. There is a divine rhythm to your story. Every beat of your heart has been known. Every detail of your journey has been sacred. I have not rushed your process, nor have I overlooked your pain. I've been here, layer after layer, moment after moment, building something that cannot be undone by fear, failure, or time. The canvas of your life carries the fingerprint of eternity, not because of what you've done, but because of what I've spoken over you from the very beginning. You are loved. You are chosen. You are mine. You are not the product of chaos. You are not the sum of broken dreams. You are not the unfinished sketch the world mistook for a mistake. You are the embodiment of my grace in motion, a story of healing that radiates hope, a witness to the kind of love that restores what others thought was lost. You are not just surviving. You are reflecting. You are revealing. You are becoming more of the person I had in mind when I first breathed life into you. And now I call you to walk in this truth, to live like you believe your life is art, to carry yourself with the dignity of someone created intentionally with eternal beauty. Not a beauty measured by outward applause, but by the quiet strength of a soul secure in my love. When you speak, let it be from that place. When you serve, when you create, when you lead, when you rest, let it be with the awareness that you are partnering with the divine. You do not have to strive for favor. You already have it. You don't need to prove your worth. You carry it. My spirit lives within you, not as a distant visitor, but as a constant friend. My guidance, my wisdom, my power, they are yours. Not because you earned them, but because I chose to dwell in the very heart I created. So walk freely, walk fully, forgive quickly, love deeply, laugh often, dream boldly, and when doubt returns, as it sometimes will, come back to this truth. You are my beloved. You are my art. You are my joy. Nothing can undo what I've started in you. No mistake can erase what I've redeemed. No shadow can dim the light I've placed in you. Let your life testify. Let it speak loudly, without words. Let your peace be proof. Let your kindness be the echo of heaven. Let the way you love, especially when it costs something, be a reflection of the one who never stopped loving you. You don't need to wait for the world to notice. I see you. I know you. And I celebrate you. And yes, I am still painting. There are still dreams to awaken, still healing to unfold, still promises to fulfill. But you no longer need to fear the future, because I, the one who holds all time and space, hold you, not loosely, not temporarily, but eternally, with hands that do not falter, with eyes that never close, with a heart that never stops beating for you. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are right where you need to be, in my hands, in the safest place there is. And as long as you remain with me, you will see beauty rise again and again. Sometimes in small ways, sometimes in breathtaking ways, but always in ways that are holy. So go now, not in fear, but in faith, not in insecurity, but in identity. You are a canvas of my love. Let the world see it, feel it, wonder at it. Let them ask why your life carries such peace. And when they do, you won't have to explain. You'll simply keep living, keep loving, keep reflecting me. That will be enough. You are my masterpiece, my ongoing miracle. my living message. Amen. Now go, my beloved. Share this message. Let others see what beauty looks like when it's held in hands like mine. Let them see what love can create. Let them see, through you, what is possible when a life becomes a canvas of heaven.